Alright, just a little update on the campaign to crash JP Morgan by buying silver. Looks like we had a very interesting week the last week, and some nice developments in the mission to crash JP Morgan. There was an admission by I believe it was the Financial Times of London, that JP Morgan is now closed out its silver position in on a lot of its contracts. So this is indicative that we're winning. I mean, we got these guys scared. They are now having to use the Financial Times of London to make announcements that, hey, we're closing our silver position, trying to get the heat off themselves here for the open manipulation that they're engaged in. There's been lawsuits being filed. Probably some more have hit the wires recently. And we also have another interesting development that's going on with JP Morgan. They are now trying to corner the copper market. It seems that someone went in and bought up, I think, 80% of the open copper on the London Metal Exchange. And it turns out that someone was JP Morgan. So it looks like they might be trying to hedge their position in silver by going long with copper. Probably because copper is another metal, and if the value of silver and gold keep rising, it might also be reflected in the commodities such as copper. And it probably will, because copper has many industrial uses. It is a real asset, and as the dollar depreciates, that copper is still going to be valuable, and its value is still going to remain consistent. So its price will go up as the dollar goes down, even though in actuality copper stays the same. It's not going anywhere. It's just the dollar's falling, so it looks like copper's rising and it just chills. But the beauty with gold and silver is those are monetary metals. And if we do try and solve the problem of fiat currencies by going back to a sound money system, such as gold backing or silver backing, then gold and silver will definitely outperform copper. And I think silver is still poised to be the superstar performer of all this, because it is both an industrial as well as a monetary metal. And going forward, it looks like we might see gold backing in currencies again, and I'm hearing rumors that China might return to silver currency backing. So these are again bullish statements for gold and silver. Now, we've had a big run up in the metals markets recently, so there's a lot of talk about a pullback, because if you look at the technicals right now, silver and gold have shot up so much, and the way that these markets move, nothing ever really goes in a straight line up. It usually goes up, then it goes down a bit. Then it goes up, then it goes down a bit. So I think we might be approaching one of those areas where we see another dip. However, I need to caution this, because we might not see that dip. The prices might just keep on going. It's an interesting situation we're into now. It's almost uncharted territory. But what's going on is silver was so undervalued to gold going into the fall this year, that when it made its move from $17 or $15 an ounce up to $30, it really broke a lot of the technical charts. I mean, it really looks like it's extremely overbought right now. Like, people are just buying too much silver. It looks that way, but if you look at the historic ratio, I believe that what we actually saw was silver catching up to gold, because JP Morgan and some other big banks have been so suppressing the value of silver, and now that they're taking those shorts off, it's kind of releasing the energy that had tapped down in silver. So silver's just trying to reach its natural equilibrium now. I don't know if this is going to be the case or not, but it very well may be. So if you can buy on the dips, buy on the dips, but you might not get the dip. That's what I'm trying to say here. It's an interesting situation we're going to, and I know I'm going to keep buying. I'm just going to try and moderate my buying going into the next 2 months here, try and spread it out evenly. So if we do see a dip, maybe I can take advantage of it. If we don't see the dip, I can still get my positions in without losing too much value. Now, as we mentioned, JP Morgan did an interesting maneuver this month and cornered the copper market. Now, I want to show all of you in America a little way you too can get exposure to copper at almost no price. It's like free copper. So here's how you do it. You go to your local bank and you ask them for a roll of pennies. Not the new pennies, just an old circulated roll of pennies. And when you get those pennies, crack them open. You're going to find some of those pennies are copper and not zinc. Now, an easy way to tell the difference is to look at the dates. Any penny made before 1981 is copper. So right here, let's see if I can get that into focus a little better. We have a penny, and I'm not sure if you can see the year on that or not. I don't think you will, but I think that's a 1977. Yep, 1977 penny. So this is a copper penny. Another way you can tell is with the bounce test. You hear that? Nice little ring to it. Now I can take a modern penny. This is a 2008. And we give it the bounce test. Did you hear that ring? No, I didn't hear a ring. Did you hear? Let's do the copper one again. You hear that ring? It has a ring to it. You know, and this is the zinc one. Just flat. Copper, ring. Now, the reason you need to do the bounce test is because in 1982, half the pennies were copper, half of them were zinc. So if you get a 1982 penny, and you want to tell what the difference, you want to determine if it's a zinc or a copper penny, give it the bounce test. So here, 1982 penny. And since that one gave us a ring, we know that this is a copper one. Now, the reason you want to hold on to your copper pennies is because they're right now worth about 2.5 cents each. So if you were to get a roll of pennies, and they were all copper, and you paid 50 cents, you just walked out of the bank with $1.25 worth of copper for 50 cents. You see where I'm going with this? This is an easy way anyone can start collecting copper. So, you know, just go to your bank, get a few rolls of pennies, sort out the copper ones from the zinc ones, put the zinc ones back in your account, and repeat. And you can start playing the copper game and, you know, help crash JP Morgan in that arena too, because they're trying to go long copper. So, hey, we can fight them in silver, we can fight them in copper. And if you're rich enough, hey, you can buy a ton of gold like someone just did recently for like $42 million and go play the gold game. But if you don't have the $42 million lying around to invest in a ton of gold, buy a ton of copper, buy a ton of silver, crash JP Morgan. Thank you.